Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, I think in the last session we completed the databases, right? Like what we call the DynamoDB and Redshift. Okay. So today we will go with another service called Elastic Beanstalk. So let us discuss about this Elastic Beanstalk first. So before going to continue with this Elastic Beanstalk, first let us try to understand what exactly we need to run a simple code. Like generally the developers will design some code, right? And the code has to be tested. This Elastic Beanstalk nobody will use for production purpose or something. This is a kind of a service which can be used for development purpose. Like while the developers are designing the code or developing the code, to test that particular code, they will use this particular service. Let us say you're designing a kind of a Java application, right? So to run that particular Java code, you need a Tomcat server, right? And it requires some kind of a dependencies, and they might require a lot of things, including database and all the things. So you have to set up all these requirements on your laptop or on a server to test the code. And if you set up all these things on your laptop or somewhere, it might, what we call that, it will consume a lot of resources, so that we cannot utilize all the resources properly for your development work. So coming to this Elastic Beanstalk, it will provide you all the required platforms, like let us say the previous example, Java application. So whatever the platform is required to run the Java application, that platform is provided to you using this Elastic Beanstalk service. So we can say that the Elastic Beanstalk or the Elastic Beanstalk service is AWS managed, easy to use service to deploy and scale your web applications. To deploy and auto scale, or we can say like scale the web applications. Okay, let me mention that Elastic Beanstalk is an AWS managed service which will provide platform as a service, So it will provide a platform to run your web application. And the required platform to run your web application will be maintained and managed by AWS. And the responsibility of the user is just to upload their code, whether it's a Java, Tomcat, whatever it is, and your code will be taken care by this Elastic Beanstalk, and your application will be deployed and that will be up and running. Can I run any kind of application using the Elastic Beanstalk? No, you cannot run any. Because as of now, Amazon is only providing few different types of platforms like Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Ruby, Docker, Golang. These are the different platforms available on AWS Elastic Beanstalk as of now. Might be in the future going forward, like all the popular platforms might be introduced, because earlier using this Elastic Beanstalk, AWS is able to provide very few platforms, not these many. But now they increased the number of platforms. And here we can say that this Elastic Beanstalk is, or we can say like in a different way, like is a service for deploying and scaling the web application. Deployment means running, right? Deployment means running. Like whenever you upload your code, that code will be deployed using the Elastic Beanstalk. Scaling means, let us say after a few days you observe that the CPU utilization is less, or your application, your web application requires more number of resources. So you can scale up or you can scale down. That is not an automated. That's a kind of a manual. But even we have an option to configure auto scaling also. You can configure the web application using high availability, including the load balancer, auto scaling. Everything will be supported by this Elastic Beanstalk. As of now, on Amazon Elastic Beanstalk service, the supported platforms are, like I can say, supported platforms. So the first one is Java. Then you can use what we call that .NET, PHP, and you can use Python, and you can use Node.js. I might miss few platform names while I am typing, but if you log into the Elastic Beanstalk, you can see all the things, and it will support Docker. Like if you have a Docker image, instead of installing the Docker application or Docker platform on your laptop or server, directly you can use the Elastic Beanstalk to run your Docker image. And there are a few other things like Node.js. Okay, I think it seems already I mentioned the Node.js. And there is a Ruby. Ruby also supported, right? And so on. These are the different platforms supported on Elastic Beanstalk as of now. So what we do is, this Elastic Beanstalk also supports single availability and high availability. We can deploy the web application with high availability, or a regular deployment called without high availability or without high availability. So whenever we talk about the high availability deployment includes load balancer and auto scaling. If you observe if you are using the auto scaling to improve the performance, automatically the instances will be created whenever there is a requirement, and they will be deleted whenever there is no requirement, right? And whenever you have a multiple instances for your application, the load to be distributed across multiple instances, which can be handled by the load balancer. So what we do to understand better about this Elastic Beanstalk is, we will create one, what we call that, we will deploy a sample application, because we are not the developers and we don't have any code. Amazon will provide you some kind of a sample code. We will use that sample web application to deploy into the Elastic Beanstalk using the single AZ, like without high availability and with availability. We will deploy two different codes, two different web applications. And remember, this Elastic Beanstalk is not required for the solutions architect. This is a developer tool. If you are working as a developer, then you have to use this Elastic Beanstalk in your day-to-day activities. Even if you go for the solutions architect certifications, you will get 0 questions from this particular Elastic Beanstalk service. Okay, right. So now what we do first is, let us deploy a PHP web application. And if you know how to design a PHP web application, I mean, like if you are a developer, you can design, and without installing any web servers in your laptop, you can use the Elastic Beanstalk and you can deploy your PHP application. Okay, right. Deploy a PHP web application using Elastic Beanstalk service, Elastic Beanstalk in Northern Virginia region. Like it's like kind of a simple deployment. There is no high availability and all the things. The high availability deployment we will see once we are done with the simple deployment. Okay, right. So now let me get into our Amazon account first. So let me log into our Amazon account. And in the search box, type Elastic. So it will show different services which starts with Elastic. And you can see Elastic Beanstalk, right? So click on that Elastic Beanstalk. Click on the Elastic Beanstalk. So it will takes you to the dashboard of the Elastic Beanstalk. This is the place where we can create an environment and we can deploy the application into the environment. And we don't have any application here. And remember, the Elastic Beanstalk service is not chargeable. But using the Elastic Beanstalk, whatever the platform you create in the backend, that will be chargeable. Let us say you are creating like a kind of one web application. And if you use the T2.micro instance, then which is a free tier eligible, you will not be charged. What if you use other than the free tier eligible instance type, like T2.large or X-large, 4X-large, then you will be chargeable for the underlying resources, whichever provisioned for your requirement. Okay, right. So now here, just click on create application, which you can see on the dashboard. Click on create application. So you can give some name. So we decided to deploy which application? PHP web application. So now what I do is I will give the name as my PHP application. My PHP application. You can give any name. My application 1, my application 2, whatever it is. And if you need, you can add some tags for understanding purpose, like deployment, testing, deployment, development, or whatever it is. That doesn't matter. And then this is the place where you have to choose the platform. So on that platform, you have to deploy your application. And which application we are trying to deploy? A PHP web application. So it requires a platform which can run the code of the PHP, right? Okay, so from the drop-down menu, you can select the platform. So these are the platforms available as of now on Elastic Beanstalk service. If you see the first one, .NET, and the .NET can be installed or maintained on Linux or Windows Server. Depending on your requirement, you can select either of one of those. And then the Docker, Golang, Java, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, and Tomcat. Let me select the PHP. And in the PHP, which version you need? But you don't get much options, because you will get only 2, 8.0 and 7.4. You have to select the platform depending on your application compatibility. If your application cannot run on 8.0 or 7.4, then you cannot use. But I don't think nobody is designing their applications apart from these two, because the 5, 6, they are very old. They already got out of support, so nobody can use that. So you can select your required PHP version. And based on this, automatically the version will be generated. This version is related to the Elastic Beanstalk service. And then if you scroll down, you can see there is an option called application code. Assume that you have the PHP application code available with you, like your developer provided to you, or you are the developer who designed that PHP application. So you have to select the upload your code option, and you can give some name, and you can click on choose file and you can upload it. Or if the code is available in the S3 bucket, you can give the name of the S3 bucket. But we don't have any PHP application code. That's why I'm going to select sample application, so that Amazon will deploy one PHP sample web application, which will get some kind of a hello world kind of a project. Okay, so select this and don't click on create application yet. So if you click on the create application, the platform will be created and your application will be deployed. But where is the requirement? Because we need so on so CPU, memory, single AZ, high availability, like load balanced, without load balanced, where we have to select. If you click on the create application, your application will be created with all default options. But we never create or we never deploy any applications using the default configuration. We have to select the configuration as per our requirement, right? Okay. For that reason, you have to click on configure more options. Configure more options. So it will takes you to a different page where you can select different configurations and different options. And Elastic Beanstalk will provide you some set of some what we call that predefined configurations. Let us say if I select single instance, so that your application will be run on a single instance platform. So your platform will be running on a single instance. If that instance goes down, your entire application will be down, and which is the free tier eligible. But by selecting this, here you can modify the options also. And if you select single instance using Spot, your single instance will be created using the Spot instance, but that doesn't matter. You can select the custom configuration and you can select each and every option manually. Like you can see the software. Like if you click on edit, I don't want to change anything, but I will show you. So you can modify the memory for your proxy server, because your web application will be run behind a proxy server. So how much memory you would like to assign, or whether you would like to allow the URLs, or what is the maximum execution time. Like if something, PHP is like server side scripting, right? Whenever you click on some button, it will execute some set of a script. What is the maximum time that every script can run? All the things you can modify. This X-ray is a kind of a developer tool where they can analyze if there is any errors. Let us say if your code got some errors, by using this X-ray, they can analyze what might be the issue and what exactly the error, all the things they can observe using this Amazon X-ray. And this application will generate some logs, right? Where you would like to store those logs. And would you like to store like 1 year logs in a single file, or would you like to create a log for every day? That is called as a rotate logs. The application logs will be rotated every day. That means on August 3rd, from midnight 12 a.m. to the midnight 12, one log file will be created. On August 4th, a new file will be created, and that day log information will be stored into that particular file. Always, every application will be recommended to enable the rotate logs feature. And if you would like to copy the logs to the CloudWatch, you can enable that, so that all your log files will be available in the CloudWatch logs, log groups that we can cover in the CloudWatch part. And here you can give some kind of a properties if requires. Let me click on save. And we just done with what we call that, the software part. And here we have an instance part, like what kind of instance it is and all the things, and capacity. This is the important one. This is the place where you can define your application to be load balanced or a regular one. Click on edit. And if you go top, you can see environment type is a load balanced. But now we are going to give with single instance deployment. Select the single instance. So only one instance will be created for the platform. There is no load balance, and there will be no auto scaling and nothing. And fleet composition. Fleet means the platform. Let us say your platform contains 10 instances. All the 10 instances will be called as a fleet, EC2 fleet. And what kind of instances you need to run the platform, on demand or Spot instances, that you can select as per the requirement. If you select the Spot instance, then they will ask you like set your maximum price for the Spot instance for every hour. So I will go with the on demand, and you can select x86 or ARM64 and instance type. I will go with T2.micro, because T2.micro is free tier eligible. You can close all, and from the drop down, you can select whatever the requirement you have. T2.micro. And don't change these AMI IDs, because using that AMI ID, the entire platform will be automatically created. If you change the ID, it is unable to identify, or it is unable to find the correct AMI to create the platform, required platform. Then click on save. And we are not having any load balancer, so that's why we are seeing this configuration doesn't contain a load balancer. And you can see the security groups, like in the backend, an EC2 instances will be created. So you can select an EC2 instance key pair and all the things if required, or you can ignore that also, because we don't log into our EC2 instance or the platform anymore, because everything will be maintained by Amazon. So here you can provide an email address so that you will receive notifications whenever there is something going to happen. Okay, right. Now what I do is I will scroll down to the bottom and click on create app. So the app will be created. So the app will be created. That means your web application, which is a PHP application, will be deployed onto the Elastic Beanstalk by using the platform provided by the Elastic Beanstalk service. It will take just a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes max. Once it is done, as we are uploading the web application will be accessible using the URL, right? The website URL. They will generate a website URL. And by using the website URL, anybody can access the PHP web application, which we uploaded. And we uploaded the sample PHP web application, right? So we can see the sample homepage of the PHP web application. Just wait for a few minutes. Once it is done, we will get that URL and we will try to access, and we will confirm whether are we able to access the web application or not. And the other thing is the web application will run on 80 and 443 ports, right? And the security group, which is attached to the platform, will be automatically allowed with 80 and 443 traffic. So no need to worry about all the configurations, because everything will be maintained and managed by AWS. Okay, right. Just wait for 2 minutes. Let it be complete. Then we can check the web application got deployed or not. Okay, in the meanwhile, what I do is on the left side, I will click on environments. Can you see the environment? One PHP application environment got created. In that environment, my PHP application is getting deployed. And if you see here, this is the URL. This is the URL to access the PHP application, which we deployed using the Elastic Beanstalk. And what is the running version? We are running the sample application. Let us say we deployed the application using the sample application. But after some time, your developer, like after a few days, your developer provided your own PHP web application. So how to deploy it? That also I will show you. But for that, let this to be complete first, then we can see. So in the meanwhile, just I will click on the My PHP application env. And what is the health? Okay. And here the running version is a sample application. Now what I do is, already I copied the URL. Here is the URL to access the web application, right? So I will open a new tab and I will try to access that particular application. And you can see that a sample PHP application is up and running. We didn't create it any EC2 instance manually. We never logged into any EC2 instance. We never installed any binaries, or we never installed any dependencies. Everything will be maintained by AWS itself. Now the question is, what if I have my own PHP application, and how can I deploy that, right? So go to that environment and click on upload and deploy. Select the code file and deploy, so that your own web application will be up and running. This is how you can run, or you can deploy the web application using the Elastic Beanstalk. Let us say if you have a web application which is using something called ABC, which you cannot deploy on this particular Elastic Beanstalk because which is not supported. Okay, right. So now here, what I do is I will share that link, the web application link. So you guys can check that. Are you able to access that PHP web application using that particular link. Already I shared that URL. Okay, I think you cannot access that if you are using from what we call that mobile or something. Let me give a different URL. I mean, let me add the HTTP because we need to add the HTTP in front of that. Yeah. So directly you can click on that link and you can check whether the web application is accessible or not. Because you might have a question like the application is only accessible from my laptop or something. We need to confirm that the web application will be accessible from anywhere across the globe. Okay, right. So now we will go in a different way this time. We will go in a different way. So what I do is we will use load balanced deployment. Load balanced deployment. That means the platform will be available on multiple instances, so that if one instance, if the platform is down due to some technical issues, your application will be run using the platform which is running on another instance. And if suddenly if your web application is getting huge number of users, then it will be automatically scale up, or we can say scale out, by creating new instances. Okay, that also we will see. Before that, what we do is, let us see how to delete that existing environment. So what is the environment we created? PHP environment, right? This is the name of the environment which we created. Select the radio button against your environment which you would like to delete. Click on actions and terminate environment. And here you have to type the name of the environment. So the name will be observed here. This is the name of the environment. Just you can type as it is, or you can copy paste. Click on terminate. So the environment will be terminated, like that will be deleted. Now we will see how to deploy a different web application. Let us say Tomcat or Java or whatever it is, that doesn't matter. Okay, and we will deploy using the load balanced. Using the load balanced, we will see that. Let it be terminate first. Then this time we will go with a different platform, because already we tested the PHP. We will go with some different application, different platform like Java or a .NET or whatever it is. Okay, so here you can see what is happening and all the things. Anyways, we will go ahead and we will create, even it is getting terminated. So go to the Elastic Beanstalk. This is the place you will get, right? If you don't get this into this page, you can click on this Elastic Beanstalk. But once you create, or once you have an application in your Elastic Beanstalk, you don't get into this particular page. Generally, you will get into this particular page. This is what you can see, right? So let me show you how to create an environment to deploy your application from this page. You have to click on create a new environment, and you have to select web server environment. This is the one which requires to deploy a web application. Select the web server environment. Click on select application name. Which application we will deploy? Let us say Java. My Java application. And here environment name. You have to give some environment name. Automatically it will be generated based on the application name. And here there is something else available, right? What is this? Because earlier we don't get this page. This is if you would like to generate a unique name instead of a random, because in the earlier phase, what is the URL we got? Something like http my php application env dot eba hznpm, some randomly, right? Just we can replace that entire random with a single word. But it seems Java is already available. Let me say Java 11. Yeah, now the URL will be java 11 us-is-1 dot elastic beanstalk. The before that random word will be ignored. That will be replaced with Java 11. You can use any name, but that has to be available. Nobody should use that already. Okay, so platform is managed platform. In the next coming future, Amazon might provide you the custom platforms also, that you can create your own platform on Elastic Beanstalk. But right now, there is no such option exists. Platform, so let me select Java. Platform branch, according to the requirement, you can select corridor 17, 11, 8, whatever it is. And here select the sample application, or you can select upload your code and you can upload the code. Now I will click on configure more options. Now this time we will go with highly available deployment. How to select that? Here I will select high availability. So automatically all the options will be selected for high availability. So here instances like capacity, right? Click on capacity. So here you can see the environment type is a load balanced. I will create the instances to be 2 and maximum to be 6, like auto scaling part. Initially, it will start with 2 instances, and depending on the requirement, it will be increased up to 6. And then the fleet composition. Fleet composition means initially there will be 2 instances behind the load balancer, right? That is setup is called as a fleet. And if you got 6 instances running, all the 6 instances are called as a fleet. So now what is the fleet composition? Would you like to create only on-demand instances? Or would you like to create the combination of on-demand and spot instances plus multiple types of the instances? Even that is also possible. So here, if I say on-demand instances, all the instances will be on-demand instances in that particular platform. What if I select the combined purchasing option, so that out of 6, 3 will be spot and 3 will be on demand, or 4 will be spot and 2 will be on demand? That you can decide. You can select the number of minimum, like first 2 will be on demand instances, or let us say 3 will be on demand instances. And whenever the 3 on demand instances got created, the next instance will become a spot instance. That is how you can combine, which is more complex. But instead of creating all spot or all on-demand instances, you can create the combination of both. But you cannot create all spot instances, because we cannot guess when the spot instance can be deleted, right? Okay, anyways, always it is recommended to use on-demand instances. But if you are using that for development purpose, then you can use the combination of on-demand and spot instances. Then scroll down. Instance type also you can combine. But this time what I do is I will show you how to combine multiple things. I will go with T3.micro and T3.medium, so that your 6 instances will be the combination of these two. Combination of these two. Okay, availability zones. In which availability zone you would like to create? I would like to create on these any 3 availability zones of these 6. So your EC2 instances will be created across all the 6 availability zones. Okay, scaling triggers. When you would like to create a new EC2 instance or new instance for the platform, I can say CPU utilization. Whenever the maximum CPU utilization, where is the percentage, in a given 1 minute is going more than 70%. In a given, generally we will go with 5 minutes. So recommended is 5 minutes. In a given 5 minutes window, whenever the maximum CPU utilization of the platform is more than 70%, then a new instance will be created. And whenever the CPU utilization is less than 60%, then an existing instance will be created from the platform. Everything will be automated. So click on save. What happened here? Okay, in the selected availability zones, it seems T3.micro is not available. Okay. So I think I need to go for T2, T2.medium and T2.micro. Okay. I think in that Northern Virginia, they don't provide T3. I guess they will providing T4. Save. Okay, now it is getting saved. And here you can create you can provide an email address so that you will receive the email notifications, like whenever a new instance got created, whenever an existing instance got deleted, for those kind of notifications will be updated. Okay, right. Then here you can see the load balancer will be created, application load balancer, security. And this Elastic Beanstalk requires a role, and that role will be automatically created and that will be assigned so that this role can handle the instances required to maintain the platform. Everything will be done automatically by the Elastic Beanstalk. And then scroll down. If you need a database, you can click on edit and you can add a database here also. Just wait, it will take some time to load. So what type of database you need for your Java application? Is it like MySQL or Oracle or Microsoft SQL? That you can select here. Okay, if you don't need a database for your application, you can ignore that. And then you can click on create environment. So now the Java environment is getting created and a sample Java application will be deployed onto the Elastic Beanstalk service. So just wait for a few minutes and it will be done. So while it is getting created, you can go back to the environments. You can go back to the environments and you can see the health as a pending. And if you observe here, see the URL java 11.us-east-1 elasticbeanstalk.com. But before that, we got some random thing, right? My PHP application dash env dot eba dash hz and some random thing, which got replaced by Java 11. Okay, so here let me click on the environment here, just environment name, and you can see what is happening here. Create environment is starting, and you can see here SNS notification topic got created, and it is creating a target group because all the instances to be maintained in a target group, and it created a security group, and now it named a security group, and now it is initializing environment health, and then it will create the instances to maintain the platform, and it got load balancer got created, everything you can see here. And let me click on the application. This is the application, right? So let me click on that. So you will get the same page. You can see all the information about the environment, how it is getting created and where exactly the process is in. Everything you can see over there. Okay, so you have to wait still the health is available or active. Okay, health is okay. Now pending means the environment is getting created. Just wait for 2 minutes, or it might take much time because it has to create the load balancer, auto scaling configuration, and everything in the backend. And we don't do anything, just we will select the requirements and automatically all the required components will be created to maintain the platform up and running all the time. Okay, so we started the process at 6:48. So if you see the single AZ without load balancer, that was created at 6:32 and that was completed at 6:41, approximately 9 minutes, right? Now this multi AZ with a load balancer will take more time, more than 9 minutes. So let me refresh here. Still it is health is pending. Now you can see load balancer is getting created at 6:50 p.m. and then the load balancer listener is getting created, and you can see instance deployment completed successfully, and it is adding instances in the backend, like 2 instances, because we selected the load balancer to be run with minimum 2 instances, the platform to be created on minimum 2 instances. so that the platform will be highly available. That is the concept of the load balancer in Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, now you can see that the health is okay. Now you can use that URL to access the application. Let me copy the URL and let me access. And you can see that the default or the sample Java application is running. Let me share the URL in the chat box so that you guys can check from your end also. Okay, sorry, I think you cannot access directly. Let me add HTTP in front of that. So what exactly is happening if you are deploying? Nothing is going to happen. There is nothing like a kind of a rocket science. What this Elastic Beanstalk will do is whatever the components is required for your application to be running, that will be created by AWS. We don't create, but all the EC2 instances, load balancers, auto scaling, everything will be created in your AWS account by Amazon. Now let us observe what all got created with this Elastic Beanstalk. So now what I do is I will go back to first, I will go to the EC2. I would like to check minimum 2 instances got created or not, target group got created or not, load balancer, auto scaling. These are the required components to run your application, right? But in that EC2 instance, whatever the components required to maintain a Java platform is maintained by AWS Elastic Beanstalk itself. Okay, so let me go to the EC2. You can see there are two instances running. What is the name? My Java application -env. My Java application -env. Okay, and then I will go to the target groups. You can see one target group which is created by Elastic Beanstalk, AWS EB. And if you click here, you can see there are two instances which are My Java application env. And if you click on load balancers, you can see one load balancer which is created for your Java platform, which is created for your Java platform. And if you go to the auto scaling, you can see the auto scaling here, right? And it was created with the 2, desired capacity 2, minimum 2, maximum 6. So everything will be created, but we don't create them. Elastic Beanstalk will create all the required things and they will be maintained automatically. Now the question is, what will happen? What will happen if I delete that Elastic Beanstalk environment? Does all these components will be deleted automatically? Yes, everything will be automatically deleted. Now let us write down like how to delete. Okay, I think we haven't note down this also. We need to write down one more thing. Deploy a Java web application with load balancer and auto scale. With load balancer and auto scaling. And then we will see how to delete the environment or the application once we are done with the practical. Terminate the Java and PHP environments after the practice. Both we have to delete, because here we create the PHP environment and here we create the Java environment. So how to delete that is select, like go to the Elastic Beanstalk, click on environments, select your environment which you would like to delete, click on actions, click on terminate environment, And here you have to type the name of the environment. Click on terminate. Now the environment will be terminated. Once it got terminated, we will go back to the EC2, auto scaling, load balancer, and we will confirm that every component related to that Java platform got deleted. Okay, right. Just wait for 2 minutes. It will not take much time, maximum like 2 to 3 minutes of time. Okay, while it is getting deleted, what I do is I will go to the EC2 service in a different tab just to observe what is happening to our EC2 instances and all the things like on which the platform is running. What is happening here? You can see shutting down, right? One got already terminated and the other two are getting shutting down. And if you go to the target groups, still the target group is available, not yet deleted. And in that, you can see there is no targets. They got removed. Once the instances got deleted, then the load balancer will be removed. See here, load balancer got already deleted. The next step will be target group will be deleted. And then this auto scaling group also will be deleted. See here, already the minimum and maximum got updated with 0, 0. And still there is one instance running and that will be deleted. And that's why it is showing that status is updating capacity. Every component will be deleted which were created as part of the Elastic Beanstalk environment creation. Everything will be deleted, but only one service, one component will be available forever, which is along with this Elastic Beanstalk. The moment once you create any environment using the Elastic Beanstalk, they will create one S3 bucket. They will create one S3 bucket. What is the use of the S3 bucket? In that S3 bucket, Amazon will maintain the information about all your Elastic Beanstalk environments, whatever the configuration you selected, and all the information will be maintained in the S3 bucket. That will be exist forever unless we delete it manually. Okay, and that also we will see how to delete that S3 bucket manually. The reason is, even though you are a root user, you will not be able to delete that S3 bucket. There is a reason. So we will identify what might be the reason and how to resolve that particular error message and how to delete that S3 bucket successfully. Okay, but we have to wait till the Elastic Beanstalk is deleted completely. You can see auto scaling group got deleted. Target group still available. Yeah, it got deleted. And instances all got deleted. So now you can see, let me refresh. And wait, environments, right? Okay, terminated. So everything got deleted. Now, the only component which is available is S3 bucket. If you go to the S3 service, there will be one S3 bucket which is created with your Elastic Beanstalk deployment. In that, it will maintain all the information like how many resources we created, every information, every configuration will be maintained. Now, I don't want to keep this Elastic Beanstalk bucket. I would like to delete. How to delete? Just select the bucket and click on delete. And you will get a message that this bucket is not empty. And see here, I logged in with a root user. So first I have to empty the bucket. Click on empty. And here type permanently space delete to delete all the objects from the S3 bucket. Yes, done. Now as per the policy, as per the rules, we can delete the S3 bucket, right? If you have the permissions. Now you can see I logged in as a root user. I can click on delete and just type the bucket name. Click on delete bucket. What is that? What is the reason? I am the root user and I got the message that I don't have a permission to delete the bucket. What might be the reason? Just read that entire error message. Root user is the owner, right? He don't have any restrictions, but still he is unable to delete. Anybody? Any guess what might be the reason? Okay. So I think you guys remember the concept of bucket policies, right? So by default, whatever the S3 bucket got created for the Elastic Beanstalk, there will be one bucket policy applied. Let us go there and let us observe what is that bucket policy. Click on the bucket, click on the permissions tab, and here you can see some policies there, right? What is the policy? And allow, right? Allow. Who will be allowed? Whoever is having this particular role. At the time of creating the Elastic Beanstalk, we have seen that the role got created and that was assigned with your environment, right? So only your environment will be allowed to put object, and then that role here, the same role will be allowed to see the bucket, view the bucket, and view the bucket version. And then there is a deny everybody else for deleting the bucket. Delete bucket action will be denied for everyone. Nobody can delete the S3 bucket. That is the reason we are unable to delete the bucket even we are a root user. Now, how to overcome this issue? If I don't have this policy, or at least I don't have this particular block, where is that? This particular block, then anybody can delete the bucket if they have the permission, right? That's why what I do is I will remove that policy by clicking on delete. Now there is no bucket policy applied, which will restrict the root user or any other user with having full permissions from deleting the S3 bucket. Right now, I will go back to the bucket. Let me select the bucket, click on delete, and type the bucket name or copy paste the name of the bucket which we are trying to delete. So most of the time you might get confused. I am a root user and why I am unable to delete. You are a root user and you got the full permissions, but on the resource side, there might be some policies applied so that that resource cannot be deleted by anybody. So what we have to do, we have to remove that particular policy from that particular S3 resource. So there is no restrictions and anybody can delete if they have the specific permissions to delete S3 bucket. Okay, right. So this is about the Elastic Beanstalk service. I think everyone is clear. And if you have any questions on this Elastic Beanstalk, you can ask me now. Anybody having any questions on this Elastic Beanstalk? And remember, no need to worry about the Elastic Beanstalk for certification program or an interview, because there's a developer tool. Just it will be good if you know about the Elastic Beanstalk, that it is a platform as a service and you can run your code without worrying about the underlying servers. It will provide you a platform as a service. Okay. Free tier, like Elastic Beanstalk is the free tier, but the resources what you create, you have to follow the free tier rules. I created T2.medium, right? So I will be charged. And I created a load balancer, right? Or I created something like, I haven't created anything which is not free tier eligible. If you go with T2.micro or a free tier eligible instances, you will not be charged. If you create T3.x large or 4x large, yes, you will be charged. Elastic Beanstalk is not chargeable, but the components which you create, that will be charged if they are not free tier eligible. Okay, any other questions? It seems I'm not getting any questions. Okay, if you guys are clear, let us stop the session and let us continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we can go with the CloudWatch, and the CloudWatch service is required for solutions architect. Okay, that is not like a kind of additional topic, that is required for the solutions architect, which is a kind of a monitoring tool and alerting tool. Okay, right. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow with the CloudWatch service. ML, you mean like machine learning? Machine learning, there are completely different tools. There are like a lot of tools available for machine learning, like SageMaker, and there are a number of things. Like you can go there, you can click on services, and you can somewhere here you can see the machine learning, right? Wait a second. Machine learning. These are the machine learning tools on AWS. These are the mandatory tools for machine learning. Different people will use different things. Like I think few people will use a deep lens, and Lex is a mandatory, and somewhere there should be some SageMaker where they can train the models. Yeah, here it is, SageMaker. SageMaker is the mandatory thing, and the remaining things depends on their use case. That is for machine learning, not for solutions architect. Okay, if you got invoice, probably you have used non-free tier services. If it is a small bill, ignore it and pay it. Like if it's like 50 rupees or less than 100 rupees. But if you got like 1,000 rupees or somewhere, then create the support ticket and mention that you are using this account for practice purpose, and ask them for credit waiver. They will give you the credit waiver. So yeah, if it is like 1,400 rupees, I recommend to go for the support ticket. I think the charges will be for the database, definitely for the database, RDS. Even here you can see, even I got the bill, but what we call that, already I approached the support team and they provided some kind of credit voucher. So if you go to the billing dashboard, and in the bills on the left side, you can see bills, and in the July. So here you can see 0, but that's not the actual cost. So I got a huge bill. So let me go for the database, and I got $128 for the database. But they provided something like $128 discount for the database because I approached them for the credit waiver. They provided me about like $200 credit voucher also, which got already expired, and which was expired on July 30th. And I used $159 from the 20. Like last month, I got the bill of $159, and that $159 was waived off by Amazon support. I created a ticket. Okay. So you can go like you can click on this question mark symbol here, go to support center and select chat junk query, and mention your description that you are using that account for what we call that practice purpose. And before sending a request, stop all the services, delete everything. Don't keep any single service. If they found any service is running, they will ask you to delete it. Once you delete it, they have to wait 24 hours to observe that no service is running. So don't use the account from the moment once you create the request. But before that, delete all services. Don't keep any service running. Even though an empty bucket, don't keep an empty S3 bucket also. Okay. So definitely you will get the crate waiver. Pending bills, like you can see here, right? Purchase orders. If you go to the purchase orders, no, not purchase orders. Wait. Orders and invoices. If there is any payments due, here you can see. If there is any payments due from the last month or before last month, you can see over there. Okay. On this account, as of now, I never paid a single rupee. Because like I got the bill and I utilized that request and I got the crate waiver. Even I got a bill on June month also. That was a huge again. What was the charge? I think no, I think I didn't get. Okay, sorry, only in 1 month I got, not in June month, July. I think for the June month, I think on a different account I got the bill. But here in the July, I got like $158 of bill and it got waived off. And don't expect multiple times. You can get this kind of a crate waiver like once or twice maximum. Okay, once or twice. From the third time onwards, you have to pay the bill. They will have some threshold value, like per account we can give this much crate waiver, like $200, $150, 300. So if you're exceeding that, don't expect any bills. But for the first time, 100% you will get the crate waiver. There is no doubt in that. Okay, any other questions? Okay then, thank you everyone. Let us continue tomorrow. I don't have any passwords or I don't maintain any videos. Just check with the admin or whatever the email you received, just reply to that email or you can contact the batch admin that the password is not working so that they can help you out. Okay. Because I don't have access to any of those videos. Only the batch admins can share that. Just mention that the 28th July password is not working so that they can help you out. Just you can contact, who is your batch admin for online? For offline, I think you can contact Rajesh. I don't remember the admin name of the online team. I don't remember. Is it like Shyam or Surendra? Shyam, I think Shyam, right? Okay. Anyways, whoever is the admin, just you can contact them. They can help you out. Suresh. Okay. You can contact Suresh. Yeah.